Hello, beautifuls. I'm going to apologize in advance if the camera is bouncy. It's really, really windy here. I tried to position myself on the side of the bank so the camera wouldn't blow over, but it might wiggle here and there, and there's not much I can do about that, so we're just going to roll with it. I want to talk today a little bit about pauses. Little bits of time, fractions of moments. You know, maybe many of you have heard the saying that it's the space between the notes that allows us to enjoy music. And that's because if all the notes were jammed together, it would just be noise. But it is that space or that pause between the notes that actually creates music that is enjoyable to us. And it is that type of pause, that fraction of space that I really wanted to talk about today. It's something that comes up time and time again as I work with clients, and that is the choice point. Every day, many times a day, we are given an opportunity to choose. And it occurs in these fractions of a moment. And whatever our choices are only ever one of two things. It's either love or fear, and the varying shades of either one. Because there really is only those two choices. And can you imagine what your life might look like, how different your experience might be, if you were aware of every single choice point? Every moment where you could have chose differently. How different do you think your life would be? I'm guessing for most of us it would be exponentially different. And that's one of the things I help people become mindful of, is these beautiful spaces. There is a Zen koan that says it is not the bars but the spaces that keeps the tiger caged. And at first that might sound really ridiculous. It's not the bars but the spaces that keeps the tiger caged. Well, when we think about it, if we are the tiger, the bars would be maybe our thoughts, our thought processes, our beliefs, maybe even the physical circumstances around us. And the spaces are the opportunities to see past that all, to see beyond the illusion, to see the spaces between our thoughts. So you can see how if you only focused on the bars, you would definitely think that you were trapped because you're missing the spaces. So when we acknowledge the spaces, we actually become free. Now, in order to access those spaces, we need to become mindful. And mindfulness is a skill where we learn to observe and connect with all of our senses and all of our being in the present moment. And when we do that, we can access these potent fractions that are powerful. That's where all our power resides. We can choose in a moment, are we going to believe that thought? Are we going to identify that thought? Are we going to chase that thought? Or are we going to let the next one come? Are we going to watch them all go by and just allow ourselves to respond with what feels most loving? Or are we going to react without connecting to that pause? We have those pauses between our thoughts, between our words, between the moment we hear something and the moment we respond. But for the vast majority of us, we are so caught up in the external, the bars, in our fears, the bars, and we are either rushing to make a decision to respond in a way so that we're not seen because we feel safe that way, or we are rushing to be seen because that's how we feel safe. And in neither one of those situations are we accessing our power. Are we accessing our life? When we become conscious of these little moments, that is the power to helping us live a life that is heart-centered. It allows us to sink deeper into our consciousness and to connect more deeply with universal consciousness and with our higher self. So the invitation today for each and every one of us, if you're willing, is to start being aware that there is a choice point. You might not see it at first. It might be something that you recognize in hindsight. But just to acknowledge that there is always a choice point, even if you're not catching it at first. And the more you start raising your awareness, soon you will find that you're becoming the full-on observer. And in this place, I would encourage childlike, innocent curiosity, no judgment, to just become curious. If you can sink deeper into a space where you are noticing the choice point when it happens, and then to step into the opportunity to choose the loving response, which for many of us, because we have been steeped in a life of fear, a life looking at the bars, may feel uncomfortable. But to trust that process. And I thank you so much for listening to this perspective. And until we speak again, please be well.